Final Saturday home game for the Falcons, Todd Walker, and they're expecting another big crowd. It was a little weird last Saturday to be only playing in front of 9,000 and change. That's how well we've gotten used to Falcons having good crowds again.
Yeah, you know, when you win and you get some excitement building up, it's nice to see the stands full of people. And Bowling Green's going to need that home crowd because they are at a low point right now for sure. They need that encouragement, need that uplifting presence, and we'll see if it helps them.
Yeah, they might have to go through that home crowd to find a quarterback, as it is a desperate situation out the Signal Callers.
Well, hopefully Drew Pine can return. I think if it had been a playoff game or a championship game, I think Drew could have played last week. Clearly they wanted to make it another week, and frankly, the offense performed well enough to win the game, up 21-3 at one point. Baron May with a pretty significant injury there. Looks like maybe that ends his career. But he played his heart out. He did a good job. The offense, Austin Dendy was a revelation at running back. And then that last quarter and a half, it just completely fell apart. But it shows you how tenuous a game can be, even when you have a 3-score lead in the second half.
You got to feel for Baron May, a fantastic game, and to lose potentially the rest of your season on the third to last play, it's a difficult situation for that young man.
It is, and really the same thing happened the week before with Lucian Anderson. We just didn't know it, and obviously it was not as serious an injury, but he couldn't play this past week from a similar scenario. So if nothing else, this team has shown the ability to be resilient with a different quarterback. I mean, you think about Lucian against Toledo. They didn't do a lot, but they did enough to win. And really, the Kent State game, you could say the same. So we'll see how it goes this week at quarterback. My hunch is that Drew Pine will be back.
As you mentioned, the offense probably did enough to get the win at Kent State. It was just, according to Eddie George, 8 different plays that swung the entire momentum of that game.
You know, if you look at it, it really, to me, was a mirror image of the Toledo game. When you look in the mirror, you see it in reverse, right? There was, like Coach said, he said 8 plays. I'll take his word for it. It was a cascading coincidence after coincidence. And if you take out one of those, BG probably wins. And just the opposite from the Toledo game. So maybe it's football karma coming back on you. I don't know. But again, it just shows every game is tenuous, and you have to make those plays to put games away. And I think this team learned a painful lesson. They didn't learn it from Toledo having it done to them by Bowling Green. When you get it done to you, maybe you learn that lesson.
3 losses now in the MAC for BG. In all likelihood, trip to Detroit is out of the picture. Crazy things do happen in this league every week. We do know that, but that can no longer be the focus. The focus simply has to be winning the next game and improving.
It's funny how you look at the macro picture of a season as a fan base or, the media. We talked about getting to the halfway point, and the second half of the schedule is easier. Now, so far, that ain't been the case. So this team just has to figure out a way to do the proverbial cliched 1-0 this week. They got to find a way to beat Buffalo to get things turned back around. And then, bowl game is certainly in the offing. They've got 4 games left. Technically have to win 3 to be bowl eligible. I think the mentality, though, for this team is let's win out and let's build some momentum here, but it's got to start with Buffalo.
Well, and let's face it, if it comes down to a couple other 6-6 teams, Eddie George is going to bring a buzz to any bowl committee that wants to bring a team in to play in late December. But that's, as you said, that's getting ahead of ourselves. Buffalo Bulls coming to town, Buffalo team that, like a lot of the MAC, has been very up and down.
Yeah, I don't know what to make out of Buffalo. I mean, they've found a way to win a couple games they clearly should have lost. Last week, maybe the opposite. They lose to Akron at home. So who knows what they're going to bring in. But I know with Pete Limbo, they're going to be well coached. And with Buffalo, it always seems to be kind of a slugfest with us and the Bulls for some reason. Last time these two teams played, there was less than 150 yards passing. I don't know if that'll be the case this week. But for Bowling Green, I think, again, this is a cliche week because I don't think it's about Buffalo at all. It's about these guys. They got to get right. They've had a couple of underwhelming performances, and you look at a couple of the units on the team that we thought would be better. The offensive line has not been as good as we thought they were, especially the last couple of weeks. They've got to step it up. And if Drew Pine comes back, he's got to find the form that he had in a couple of the good games and not turn the ball over, and BG could get a victory.
Very much could be a season-defining game for the Falcons this Saturday as they honor 21 seniors on Senior Day against the Buffalo Bulls. I want to thank Todd Walker from the Bowling Green Sports Radio Network for joining us. Thanks, Todd.
You got it, Mark.